Hey everybody, hi, it's Monday night again, and here we are, our smiling faces in this cold weather, but nothing stops us from getting on these hangouts. They are so important to us, and I know that they're important to you from all the feedback that we get. So thank you very much for coming on and listening to us again tonight. I believe we're the top motivational hangout on the net, and we couldn't be any happier to have you join us. And in return, we promise to give you 1 hour of pure value to assist you in reaching your goals, your dreams, your freedom. We help you accept who you are and not where you are. If you are new here, please be sure to introduce yourself in the chat roll. We would love to meet you and say hi to you. We love doing this hangout for you, the dreamer, the doer, the entrepreneur, you, the person longing to make every day Freedom Day. So, what are we about to talk about tonight? How to create a life of freedom with your words. This is so interesting for me tonight. I don't know what to say to you guys. Today it's Monday, and Monday is my fun day. Well, every day is kind of a fun day for me, but Mondays are great. I love to get out on a Monday, but I usually wait until it's 10 o'clock in the morning or so to leave the house because the roads and the stores are practically empty at that time. All the employees have gone through the grind and the gridlocks to get to their job, just over broke, and spend their time with a bossy wassy for the next 8 hours. And just think, most of them borrowed $150,000 to do that. Craziest thing I've ever heard of. Really? How about you guys? So, anyways, back to this morning. I was up early and chatted with Sam for a few minutes and played with the doggies, grabbed my green tea, and headed into our office to jot down a few ideas actually for this hangout that I wanted to share with all of you. But before I did that, I decided to check my email. And at that time, I didn't realize by checking my email, my whole plan for today would be changed in a New York minute. So let me explain this to you guys. One of my daughters, Jody, she lives in New Zealand. And this morning, there was an email from her closest friend in New Zealand. It was very short and to the point, and it went something like this. You might be aware it's Jody's birthday on Thursday, January the 15th, and I was wondering if you might like to take some time to fill out these 3 quick questions for me and return this email by Tuesday night. That would be awesome. Now, that means that when I looked at it this morning, it was already the middle of the night, like Tuesday morning over there. So I didn't have a whole lot of time, but she said, I'm then hoping to print them off and put them in a book for her. Hopefully it'll be something she keeps forever. And here's the questions. 3 words that you would use to describe Jody. And then she said, complete this sentence. If Jody was an animal, she would be ... And the last one was, the world is a better place with Jody in it because. Now let me take you back to her first sentence. Answer these 3 quick questions. Duh! Is she on crack or something? Like, as a mom, I had 40 years of knowing this child, and how in the world could I answer this quickly and do it the justice that I wanted to give it? Heck, I could write a book about this child. Thus, the thought of creating value for you on this hangout went right out the window, down the street, out the state I live in, and is likely swimming in the ocean somewhere right now. Because I had bigger fish to fry, and I had a higher mountain to climb. I was a girl on a mission. It was my baby girl's birthday, and I wanted to tell her how I felt. So I had to do this in 3 words. Are you kidding me? 300 words could not cover the attributes that I felt in my heart for this amazing grown woman. But I had to follow the rules, so I put my thinking cap on and pondered, and then it hit me like a kitten in a lightning storm. I knew what I was going to respond with. Now, I want to tell you how I responded. Yeah, I know we said we talk about some things, but this is what I want to tell you about. So in order to explain it to you, I have to take you back to the year 2000. That was the year that my Jody told me she and a girlfriend were going to quit their excellent jobs at the Sky Dome in Toronto, where the Blue Jays played baseball, and travel the world for a year. They're going to do this by backpacking, excuse me, and staying in youth hostels. They had already looked into it, and they could buy a ticket to take them around the world for a year for $2,500, and that would allow them to make 6 stops within the world. And they had decided on Europe and New Zealand, Australia, Thailand, and quite frankly, I can't think of the other 2. Now, as a mom, behind the facade of this huge smile I had on my face as she was telling me this, with the excitement of a puppy with a new toy, the mother bear was coming out in me big time. The hair on the back of my neck went up. I was overheating. I was wringing my hands together, and I wanted to scream so badly. No, don't go. But if you have to go, take me with you so I can protect you. But the other me opened my mouth and answered with this big cheeky smile. OMG, well, I think back then that we said, oh my gosh, that is awesome. I mean, I had raised all my children to continually go after their dreams. Never let anything stand in their way. Live a life of wonderment, fulfillment, and above all, be true to yourself. But damn it, a trip around the world? I could not fight her on this, though. I had created this free spirit that was standing in front of me. And what a blessing it was to see her go after what she really wanted to do. Now, my only insistence on this whole trip, this was the only thing I said to her after I got a grip on my emotions, was to say, I love you, be careful, have an amazing year, and do not call me from Australia and tell me that you have fallen in love with a sheep farmer. Now, please don't send me any emails about sheep farmers and what's wrong with them and everything else. That's not what I meant. I just wanted her to come home to me, to her dad, to her siblings, to her friends, to her country, to her old life. That's all I wanted. So she headed out, and months went by, and she and Jen traveled numerous countries in Europe, Spain, France, Greece, Turkey, gosh, I can't think of them all. And her next stop was New Zealand. So everything was moving along just as planned. She would be home in 6 months, and I couldn't wait. And then I got the phone call. She had been in New Zealand for about 3 weeks when she called me. She was so dang bubbly on the phone. She's so excited, so happy. And we talked about everything that she was doing and everything that she was seeing, and I could visualize it through her eyes. But every mom knows their child, and I just knew that there was an extra skip in her step that night. So I finally asked her. I said, Jody, do you have something you want to tell me? And just like that, she answered and said, well, Mom, he's not a sheep farmer. I was like, and from that moment on, I knew that my little girl, my amazing, beautiful, and incredible daughter, was doing exactly what I had raised her to do. She was. all her life. She had kept me on my toes. Oh, that's for a whole nother hangout. Never knowing what she was going to do. She was a good kid, don't get me wrong, but she was a spunk. But all through it all, she never ceased to amaze me that she continually seemed to know how to make the correct decisions. And so how could I be anything but happy for her? She was moving halfway around the world to live her life. She was giving up her family, her friends, her country for the best thing in the world, to go after her dream. And people often ask me, how do I handle her being so far away? And don't I miss her? And yada, yada, yada. And I tell them, when you see the smile on her face as she leaves to go and be with her family in New Zealand, you know she has found happiness and her purpose in life. And that is all we ever want for our children, isn't it? So I came up with my 3 words for Jody today. And they were, number 1 was happiness. She's the epitome of happiness. Jody radiates happiness. Just by being around her, you become happy. And the second thing was word was free-spirited. Jody still smiles when things aren't going too well. She takes a positive outlook on life and she tries to make the most of it. Her spirit isn't dampened by the little things in life. She is a free spirit. And the third one, it's huge, inspirational. She is someone who makes you want to go after anything in life. She has such a positive influence on people. And she truly is my biggest inspiration. One of my biggest inspirations. So my next question was, what animal would she be? Well, that was really easy for me. I pegged her a dolphin. And why? Because a dolphin has the attributes of peace and harmony, perfection, the playfulness and joy, such inner strength. And they cooperate. And they just give love. And Jody has. And lastly, the world is a better place with Jody in it because, well, I said she makes such an impact in so many people's lives. She is a wonderful wife, a fantastic mother, the best of the best. She's a sibling that the others can count on and love to hang out with, the best friend anyone could ever have, and a daughter that any mom would be proud to say is hers. The world is blessed with Jody in it. So gang, I hope you enjoyed hearing about my day, and I want to ask you one more thing of you. You saw what I did here, right? I told you a story about a day in the life, a simple story. I'm sure it resonated with a lot of you, like with the moms, with the dads, with the daughters, with the sons, with the friends. It was motivational, it was inspirational, and it shows you what you can achieve when you go after what you want so badly in life. And that, my friends, is how you communicate with others to create the life you want. It's how you communicate with them to get the life you desire and the life you so deserve. By blogging about it. That's how I do it. I write this down. Or by videotaping about it. It is that easy. Everyone has a story. And people so desperately need to hear your stories. You don't have to get it right. You just have to get it started. So I hope by telling the story of what I did today, you hear how important it is for other people to hear your stories. So at that, I'm going to pass the baton right now because, yeah, like I said, I spent a lot of time on my own family today, so I know you guys will have something some input to put into this, how this whole communication thing works, okay? Zen, you want to take it from here? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I just did. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, dear. Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm glad you picked me to go next because I'm actually a little bit blown away because a very interesting thing is that my daughter's birthday is this Thursday, January 15th, and she'll be 16. Yeah, I know. So I wasn't going to inject any woo-woo factor in here, but in fact, I'll tell just a short story about her, and then I want to talk about blogging, and they kind of blend together. But she asked me today, actually she said to me today, I've been feeling really good lately, ever since we had that tickle fight, you know. And I said, what tickle fight? And she goes, you don't remember the tickle fight we had 3 days ago? And I said, oh, yeah. What happened was she was in a little, she never gets into a funk, but for some reason, somebody must have said something that kind of just made her very straight-faced. And I saw it, and she wasn't responding to anything that I said that was funny. So I asked her to turn around because I saw something on her face, and I put out my finger like motherly like to rub something off on her face, and I poked her right under the chin where I know she's super ticklish. And from there it just broke out into a tickle thing because I'm very ticklish. And we had a lot of fun, and it was just very spontaneous. And so today when we were talking, she said, ever since then I feel really good. And I said, you know what? I want to just tell you what your only job is in life. Your only job. It's to align your energy to feel good. So nip any thoughts, catch off thoughts, memories, anything that feels a little off that's going to take you possibly down a road that doesn't feel good, and nip it in the bud and bring that thought back around to something good, either the lesson learned or a reframe of that. And that, my darling daughter, is your only job in life, because when you are in that flow of feeling good and aligning your energy, the underlying energy, not from affirmations, I am successful, I am, no, you have to be in energetic alignment with allowing that to come into your life. The only way to do that is to feel good. That's your job. So I want to tell you how to prepare yourself to see the signs of seeing good things manifesting. Feel good as often as you can. Now, I'll continue the woo-woo factor for just a second, because some people will say, well, how do you do that? Well, if you don't really know, I would say start with meditation, go get a massage, go take a walk, go do something that feels good to you. And then take those thoughts or those feelings that are occurring while you're doing those things and stay with them as long as you possibly can. And then when you start to free float away and you're going in some kind of negative off road with it, get back to that feeling that you had while you were either having a massage, taking a walk, or doing whatever it was where you were feeling good, because that is your #1 job. And now I'm going to bring it around to blogging, because the truth is that for years when I speak to my friends or speak to anyone, I have several friends who have always said, after I go on a rant about anything, you should write a book. And a book just sounds daunting. It doesn't sound like fun. So when blogging became available on the internet, I thought, you know, if you're going to be a communicator, you kind of need a forum. And what better forum is there but having some real estate online? Because when you have a presence online, that's what you've got. You've got real estate. And people gravitate towards you based on your energy and what you're putting out there. So whatever it is you're passionate about, start a blog. Start one that matters. And there's 2 things that you can do. When I say start a blog that matters, you can take whatever you're passionate about and you can take that topic and people will resonate with it. Okay, both of the stories that Nettie told and I told about are about daughters. Now, maybe people with kids would resonate with that. Maybe people who, you know, resonate with vibrational energy would gravitate towards me, something like that. But people who resonate with you, or they have an issue in the area that you're talking about online and feel like you may have a solution that they want to hear about. So I'll tell you briefly about blogging with Empower. I have 3 blogs on Empower. I blog about Empower and our products and how wonderful they are for getting basically what I amount to being a master's in online marketing. My other blog is about hypnosis and how it's beneficial to you, because I am also a hypnotherapist and I have gotten clients from people seeing that blog. I also carry a back pain product, and I don't believe in sending energy into areas that are negative. So all of my blogging about my back pain product is solely around, do you want relief and do you want it today? If you do, click below, watch the research videos, order here, email me with questions, and that's it. And since I've been blogging about it, I sell quite a few of them. Now the other number 2 situation with blogging, when we get people into Empower anyway, the word blogging sounds like authoring. It sounds like writing. And some people are daunted by this task. And I just want to tell you that our new blog platform, Kalatu, which just recently launched, kind of solves that issue for you. Because if you need a topic, it'll give you a topic. If you need a headline, it'll give you a headline. It'll also give you SEO tags that fit. And you can post it and syndicate it, add images and videos, and you could be done in short order. So you don't necessarily have to have a platform that is just one way, your passion. You can figure it out as you go along, because you can find topics that actually start to bring up your energy. When you feel your own energy uplifting by the topic that is picked by Kalatu for you after you enter a few keywords about what you like to think about that day, you'll start to get a flow to your writing, and your voice will start to enter into that, and it doesn't take long to get there. So I just want to leave you with that thought. Blogging doesn't have to be a daunting task, but if you want to be seen and heard out there, you need a piece of real estate on the internet, and that is called having a blog. So start a blog that matters. Talk about your passion. Talk about things that you think other people will resonate with you. And it's as simple as telling your story. And maybe another person has a daughter or a son that's born on January 15th and you want to tell that story. I don't know. But tell a story, tell a compelling story, and people will resonate and they will want to connect with you. And I think I'll leave it at that so that I can bring it back to Nettie and she can introduce our new panelists. Thank you so much.
Hey, Zen, thank you. You always have words of wisdom. So for all of you that are on here tonight and listening to us, we talked, when we sent the swipe out, we talked about communication. And so far we've covered, myself, I told you a story. That's all it is, communicating. You're just delivering something to somebody else. And whether you put it in writing, you put it into video, it doesn't matter. It's gonna connect with somebody. Trust me, every story does. And Zen now touched upon what we do for in our industry. We all belong to Empower Network. Most of you know that out there, and it is a blogging platform. And she talked a bit about that. So we've covered the telling the story and how to tell the story on your own piece of real estate, whereby you can turn it into something that can generate an income and give you that life of your dreams, that your life of freedom, whatever it is you wanted. But we're going to take you a step farther now, and Kristen is our new member, and I'm so happy and proud to introduce her tonight. She's just a little munchkin, and she's from upstate New York, and she's just she reminds me somewhat of our Shirley. She's just wise beyond her years as far as wisdom goes, and I'm so impressed with seeing these young kids that have all of this knowledge that I know darn well I didn't have back then, and I just love that she accepted our invitation to be on this panel, because I know she's going to come across with things that a lot of you out there are going to find super interesting, and you're going to be able to really relate to her, resonate with her, whether it's because of what she's about to tell you about herself, or whether it's because you're her age, or whether there's just something that she says that connects with you. So hang on to your hat. hang on to your chair, hang on to your drink, whatever you're hanging on to. I don't want to tell you what to hang on to. But she's going to talk about a little bit of a different avenue with the blogging too. So, among other things, okay? So take it away, Kristen. The floor is all yours. Everybody give her a good welcome. Yay! If I had an applause button, I would play it.
Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. And I got to say that I'm so honored that you guys asked me to be on the panel, and it really means a lot to me. So I appreciate that. And but I had to laugh during your story because I don't have any kids. I just have my dog. So it immediately made me think about the words I used today to describe him. And I remember I was sitting here working all day, so at one point I let him outside, and I heard him, and I look outside, and I was like, Charlie, you are stupid. And then the next moment he does something else, and I'm like, now you're just crazy. And these are the words I use to describe my only child. And so they're not very empowering communication. So I'm really happy that dogs, at this point in my life, since I don't have any kids, I'm glad that dogs only know tone of voice, and they don't actually understand words. Because I just tell him he's stupid very, very nicely.
And he probably looks at you with those big brown eyes saying, I love you too, Mommy.
No, he's like, nope, I'm just like you. I'm crazy too. So, but anyways, I was sitting here thinking, and Nettie, your storytelling is absolutely brilliant because with that form of communication, not only did I feel like I know you. I feel like I know you at a whole different level. Now I feel like I know you as who you were as a mother and who your daughter is. So that form of communication is so impressive, and I got that, and then everything. But when I was sitting here thinking about, we titled this "How to Create a Life of Freedom with Your Words," and so that immediately got me thinking to, okay, what kind of freedom are we talking about? Are we talking about financial freedom? Are we talking about mental freedom, spiritual freedom? What kind of freedom are we talking about? And when you stop to think about it, any type of freedom, whatever freedom means to you, communication has a direct correlation with that. You cannot be free to be happy if your self-communication isn't healthy. If the communication that goes on your head all day long, 24/7, that little voice inside your head, if you're communicating the wrong things, you can't find that freedom inside. In this business with online marketing, if you're not communicating and you're not effectively communicating, you're not going to see the success, you're not going to see the financial freedom, because it's all correlated. So no matter what type of freedom you're talking about, communication is everything. So when Nettie asked me to talk about, blogging and guest blogging and to tell everyone about the blog I do, I have my own personal blog, but I take more pride in another blog that I run for somebody else, and to me, it is the epitome of freedom when it comes to blogging and the power of blogging and the power of communication. 6 years ago, I'll keep it really brief, I started writing to a gentleman who's on death row in Texas, and it turned into a friendship, it turned into a relationship that I was never expecting, because he's truly become a good friend of mine. I always feel very therapeutic when I'm writing him letters because, I tell him everything because it doesn't hurt anything, So anyways, when I started in Empower Network, prior to Empower Network, I had no idea what blogging was. I didn't know that, I didn't even really know it existed, to be honest with you, because I wasn't really, everyone looks at me and says, oh, you're young, so that automatically means that you're, you know computers, you know the internet, you know everything, and I didn't really know any of that. But when I started to learn how to blog, I started to realize that this was a huge opportunity for him to be able to tell his story. And it also helped me out because it provided me with being able to have a guest blogger. So he helped me give some content. Now, thankfully, with our platform, we can have multiple blogs, so I don't have to worry about sharing anymore, and he has his own blog. So I think I started his about a year and a half ago. You guys might correct me, but I think it was about a year and a half ago now that he started blogging, and the change I see in him is absolutely amazing. We just got done with the holiday season, and holidays are always tougher for him because it's the start of a new year, and it's another year in prison, it's another year on death row that he never wanted to be, and so it always gets a little bit depressing. And this year was the first year that I really saw a difference in him, and there's no doubt in my mind that the blog is a huge reason why. And it's because of communication. It's because blogging has given him an outlet. It's given him a way to communicate with the world. It's given him a way to tell his story, and that's extremely freeing. So that's what communication does, is it gives us that freedom to tell our stories. It gives us the freedom, even when you're sitting behind bars, it gives you freedom. And I think there's nothing more powerful than to have a platform for you to not only share, like, you know, we share statistics, we share numbers, we share facts, but to share just who we are. And in like Nettie's story, I said, you know, it got really to the point where you really felt like you got to know her. And that's the other thing that communication does, is it enables people to get to know you in a different light. If I were to tell any of you who haven't read Travis's blog, and I come across this all the time, people are like, oh, be careful. You don't know him. Actually, I do know him. I've been writing him for 6 years. I know him. And, you know, or it's like, oh, he's a monster, because if all they know is that he's on death row, that has a very negative connotation to it, of course. But now that he's been able to communicate and to share his story, all of a sudden his readers and people who never would have given the death penalty another thought, all of a sudden they see him as a human. They see him as a fellow person. They see him for something or someone beyond his actions or his decisions of the past, and they've actually taken the time to get to know him. And that, to me, is what communication is all about. It's about really truly getting to know somebody and sharing who you are. Because communication is a two-way street. It's being willing to tell your story, but it's also being willing to listen and to hear the other perspective. And that's also really important in business, because when you speak, you have to know what your audience wants. You have to be willing to listen. You have to be able to not only talk and share your stories and your value, but then listen to what it is that people want and they need. So I could really go on and on. I feel like I don't want to take up too much time, but I see a huge difference in him. And when I think about freedom, it goes beyond just making money from a blog, and because I can do that. And that's what I also love about the blogging platform, is with his blog, it's so easy to monetize it, you know, especially with the new blogging platform that Empower has coming out. It's just it's so easy. It's so simple. It's so simple to actually get people to come and see your blog. I know a lot of people, that's what they struggle with a lot, is they tell their story out, they put it out there on the internet, but they can't get anyone to actually see it or read it. And that's what I love about Empower Network, because it's so simple to tell your story, to put yourself out there and actually have people see it. So communication, it's everything. There's no way around it, whether it's the communication you say to yourself or it's the communication you use in your emails, on your blog. It's all interconnected. So effective communication, it's all that you need to have. So I will pass it back to Nettie before I talk the rest of the night.
Yeah, you nailed it, and yes, I agree with you. You know, with Travis's blogs that you've been posting, I would have never followed anybody in that situation. You nailed it. I mean, and with his blogs, it shows the world another side of how other people live. And I think that's what Klaatu means, to tell your story. And I think that's what we all need to do, because someone out there needed to hear about Travis. They needed to understand death row. They needed to understand how that person behind bars was feeling, whether he had committed a crime or not. You know, it just helps open doors. And the same goes for that wife that is sitting in the middle of Nebraska and has a story to tell about the way she was raised, or the same about the father over in India that is trying so hard to create a good living for his family, where it's so hard to do things like that. Or how people that have worked on cruise ships like to tell their story of selling art. I mean, I would have never, ever dreamed that art was sold on a cruise ship. I mean, I think I must have been under a bubble before I started reading blogs because I just it's amazing the things that you learn about the world. It brings the world. We say the web brings the world to your feet, but blogs and videos do that even more so. You really feel like you're in tune with that person. So thank you for sharing what you did about what the blogging platform means to you. And you did exceptionally well, and I'm sure everybody was loving the words that you were saying to them because I know you opened my eyes up. So thanks a ton, Kristen. Really appreciate that. So moving on to the last lady on the panel tonight, who always does like to go last. It's not because I'm mean that I make Erica go last. This is so. Anyways, sweetie, how would you like to give us some thoughts about how you feel about communication and how it can affect your life and your personal life, your business life, etc.?
Would love to, would love to. But before I start, I just want to firstly welcome Kristen. It is just so awesome to have a fresh face on the panel, and I'm just so excited with the value that she's going to be bringing over the course of the next year or so, however long she decides to stay with us. But it's just fabulous because I met Kristen, 2012, and I was just absolutely blown away with her old soul nature. So Kristen, again, so happy that you accepted our invitation, and I'm just so excited to just have this journey with you as you are with us on Tilt. So thank you, Donna, for being here. And just quickly about Travis, it's such a powerful story about communication because we don't have the death penalty in New Zealand, and it's something I've never even considered before. But because this soul was pouring out his heart and soul with his words in the blog, it opened my eyes up to something like, wow, this deserves my attention. And I've been caught up in the story of Travis to the point where he has become a blessing in my life. Now, if it wasn't for blogging and him choosing to tell his story, I wouldn't have the enrichment that I do. So I'm so glad you brought up about Travis, because man, his blog, his words are a blessing in my life, and I'm forever grateful that he has come into our lives. I think every single person in our team or group that reads any of his work, you start being super grateful for everything, and he put such a beautiful twist and spin on things. I mean, I wasn't reading his his words earlier on, but what I'm seeing, just powerful. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fabulous week. The ladies have covered communication beautiful, storytelling, the power of telling your story, blogging. I am going to get into business because someone's got to get hard and tough. Darlings, 2 books. I need you to grab, I just lost my page. I need you to grab a pen and paper. I've got 2 recommendations for you. The first one, The Ultimate Sales Letter. Okay, this is by Dan Kennedy. You guys must know this guy's name. Powerful, powerful copywriter. You must grab this book if you want to be an effective communicator with your sales copy in what it is that you are promoting. Top recommendation right here. Now, the second one, I just lost my page. I hope I can find it quickly. The second one is actually the first book I ever read on this subject. Here we go. Okay, so you guys, you're going to need a pen and paper because I'm going to give you some notes on how to effectively write email messages, communicate with your audience. Mike Dillard was the first person who ever put me onto this guy. This is Joe Vitale, and it's called Hypnotic Writing. Joe Vitale, Hypnotic Writing. And Mike Dillard said the only way to get good at writing copy is to just write. And I'm like, well, that doesn't help me. No, just write. He goes, but no, just write. Just start writing. You're going to suck. In the beginning, your writing's going to suck. But if you keep writing every single day, within about 6 months, guess what? You're not going to suck anymore. And it's so true. I remember when I go back to some of my earlier emails, and they're so stiff and so cardboard and so like, who was I trying to be? Well, I had no idea because I didn't have a voice. I didn't know how to communicate. It wasn't until about 6 months down the track, like he said, I suddenly started to find my voice. I was able to communicate in my style. But that only comes when you start writing, all right? So we're talking about written communication. So This is what I call a email copywriting checklist, okay? So the first point is, does your opening pull readers into the ad or your email with a fast, compelling, strong reader interest? So here's the thing. The first thing about communication is you got to get people's attention. If you don't get their attention in the heading, no one's going to open your stuff, okay? There's no point being a fantastic communicator if you can't get people's attention, okay? So first thing, do you have a compelling heading? Second thing, does the copy move along at a swift, easy-to-read clip, generating desire all the way, or is it boring? Okay. So what he's basically talking about here is, are you talking in a conversational style that allows your reader to flow with the story? You know how like Nettie was telling her story? It was compelling. Okay. That's what you can do in your email writing. Alrighty. Next point. I just covered this one. Is the copy written in a conversational style of the person who's going to read it? Have you spoken on the same wavelength as your readers? Now, this is really, really important. A lot of people think that they need to talk in someone else's language. Well, you don't really. You need to talk in your conversational style with your reader's viewpoint in mind. Okay, you have to meet your reader on their level. You're not actually writing for you. You're writing for your reader. Okay, and one of the things I do when I'm communicating with my list is I imagine one person that I'm talking to, one person. What do they need to hear from me today? Okay, how can I talk to this person in such a way that I will affect change in them? So I'm always talking to one person. I'm never talking to like 100 people. I know that sometimes, you know, you read emails from people and they mention you guys. Well, I'm not you guys. I'm one person, okay? So it's another big tip with your communication. Always be talking to one person, because that one person's opening email, not, you know, the thousands of people on your list, one person, all right? So talk in a conversational style. Is the copy visually attractive and inviting, using short sentences, short words, short paragraphs, bullets, subheads, and other visual aids? Darlings, there is nothing worse than opening up a communication, written communication, that is just a massive words down the page. You must break up your communication in little blocks. We call it white space. Make sure there's a lot of white space around your text so that the eye can easily pick up on the words, so allowing it to flow beautifully. Does that make sense? Okay, no big jumbled paragraphs, no, you know, big long chunky blocks of material. Nice, succinct, short paragraphs so that I can easily, you know, travel down your email. Does the copy overcome objections and answer all questions? Okay, very important point there, because what you're doing is, in your communication, you're trying to solve a problem, right? So does your email solve a problem? Otherwise, these people wouldn't be on your list. Okay, so does your communication solve a problem? And this is really important. Does the copy include proof and create believability with testimonials, specific details, and a guarantee? Okay. One of the biggest jobs we have in our communication is to overcome skepticism. Okay, the best way to overcome skepticism is to provide testimonials. Okay, you will notice if you guys are on my list, I'm saying you guys now, but if you're on my list, you'll notice that quite often I will put testimonials in my copy from our team members or what someone else is doing, okay? So it's not about me trying to convince someone that, you know, oh, what I'm doing is awesome and I'm getting all these results. It's like, hey, well, look at so-and-so and look at so-and-so and look at so-and-so, okay? It's really powerful because it's kind of social proof that something is happening not just for you, but for others, therefore it will happen to your reader as well. Does the copy end with a powerful call to action? A lot of people forget to do this. They forget to actually tell the reader what to do, okay? And normally the best form of a call to action is in 3 parts. You know, sometimes if you're reading my emails, I'll say things like, so hit this link, fill out your details, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, I know that last one's not exactly a call to action, but, you know, a 3-step call to action. You know, hit this link, write out all your details, put in your credit card, and then hit the button at the end, okay? Ideally, a 3-part call to action is a powerful way to end your emails. Is the copy written from the viewpoint of what the readers will get, okay? Do your readers know how their lives will be improved? You are always trying to write from your reader's viewpoint, again, not from your viewpoint. It's not like, you know, all about me, all about me, me, me. No, it's all about your reader. Okay, so always try and think of that. Have you written from their viewpoint? Is it clear what you're selling? This is really powerful. Is it clear what you're selling? Sometimes people don't even know why they're reading your emails. Okay, so is it clear what you are selling? Is there a deadline? Okay, this is really a compelling way to communicate with your people, is to put a deadline on things. You know, like we have a deadline coming up on January 19, which I will start communicating to our list, and that is, you know, we've got a series of products, core products within Empower Network, and as of January 19, 3 of those most amazing products will never be available to the public again. Do you think I'm going to be putting a deadline in some of my emails? You betcha. You betcha. Leading up to January 19, you betcha, because we're offering 2 for 1. Okay, so is there a deadline? Deadlines are really, really powerful. Okay, are there plenty of reasons to buy? Okay, are there plenty of reasons to buy? Benefits. Features and benefits. Does your copy follow and complete what your headline begins? Okay, this is one thing I actually do. And I don't know if I'm even supposed to, I actually leave the headline till last. What I do is I start writing my content to our list, and then halfway through you do that too, Nettie, and halfway through the content, the headline jumps out at me. I'm like, bam, there it is. You know, so I don't actually start with a headline. I start with an idea, and then the headline just jumps out of the communication to me. Okay, so have you reminded your readers of what happens if they do not buy? Fear of loss, okay? I'll repeat that. Have you reminded your readers of what happens if they do not buy? Fear of loss, so powerful. Have you tightened the copy so you say what you have to say in the fewest words possible? Okay, this is really powerful. I always go back through my emails and I delete words. I'm like, does that word need to be there? Does that need to be there? Because you know why? Your viewers' time is precious. You know, they're going on to that next email, so you need to get your communication out there really succinctly. So delete superfluous words. Delete things that don't need to be in there, like the word that. You can actually take the word that out of a lot of your sentences. That will cut your copy down a lot. I love this one. Is this the best you can do? You know, sometimes it can take me about an hour and a half to do my emails. They may be really, really short. I'm getting shorter now that I'm, you know, kind of sending people back to Facebook for my video messages. But I can take up to an hour and a half to do my emails, and I'm just tweaking and just making it the best it can possibly be. So that is the second to last point. Is it the best you can do? And this is something a lot of people forget to do as well. Have you included a graphic that gets attention? Okay. Visuals are so powerful because they in themselves tell a story. All right, and darlings, I'm going to wrap it up because that's about all I've got. I hope that was useful and helpful. But darlings, those 2 books again, I strongly recommend this one. It is called Hypnotic Writing. It is by Joe Vitale, and the heading kind of says how to seduce and persuade customers with only your words. Darlings, when you get really, really good at communication, your business will change, your life will change, everything will change. It all comes with the word. And again, the best way to get really, really good at writing good copy and writing good communication is to just keep doing it. Another thing you can do is read other people's stuff. And, you know, so I don't like copying other people's materials because it's not my voice. It doesn't sound like me. It sounds like somebody else, okay? But it's kind of good when you're brand new and you're just starting out is to read other people's emails, copy them, and write them out. You know, just actually write them out word for word. And as you're transcribing, you get the feel of how they created that email. Okay, and then as you mature in your email writing, your own style will start to come out from that. That's what I did in the beginning. But again, it took me about 6 months to start feeling comfortable speaking in my voice, using my colloquialisms, you know, my slang. You know, I talk with my voice, my conversational style. So that just comes out with practice. So does the other book too, remember this one? The Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan Kennedy. It's just a phenomenal book. Those are my 2 top recommendations for communication. So Nettie, I'll hand it back to you, darling. Thank you so much for hosting tonight. Doing an awesome job as always. And guys, I'll see you next week.
Thanks, E. As usual, you had lots of diamonds to give us, so thank you very much. You know, we've really helped cover it for all of you tonight about communication and how important it is. You know, as I said earlier, we went through the storytelling, and Zen touched on the blogging, and Kristen touched on guest blogging, and then Erica wrapped it up with business and why it's so important in business. And I just want to take a minute and say to you that everybody should have a blog today. They just should. It's particularly important if you're in any kind of business. Now, we're talking about Empower Network, but I want to just share with you, I want to go out of the realm, and maybe somebody's out there saying, What would I use a blog for? I do hair for a living. I have a hair salon. Well, a blog, you can put things on your blog like new colors. Take pictures of somebody that you've just done a hair color on, what it was before, what it was be after, what it was after. All our blogs are linked automatically to Twitter. They're linked to Facebook. They're linked to Pinterest, and they're going to have it linked to LinkedIn too. So there's just an example of something like that. Or maybe you're running a special and you want to get it out there. Or maybe because Facebook allows you just to promote it in the certain town that you're in or the city that you're in. So you can do that. Another thing is real estate. Like maybe you're into real estate, you go out, you list a house, bam, you can get it right on the market right away. You can put a picture on it and say, look at this, I just saw it, I'm listing it, it's in this section of the city, put it out there, and that has cost you nothing for advertisement. You know, your blog can become so important. You can advise people on what to do when they're looking for a house. You can advise how they should get a mortgage, what the lawyer should be doing for them. And, you know, the last example I want to use is restaurants. I mean, often Sam and I, when we go out for dinner, we'll look up the restaurant, we'll look up the menu beforehand because possibly maybe we don't really care for the food that they serve, but we've heard it's good, so let's see for ourselves. Going to the movies is another thing that we always do. You go online. Now, I don't know how people could really blog unless they were giving a review of a movie, but that's a good thought. I mean, I actually look up and see what movies are good. But back to the restaurant, you can put out your specials for the day, or put it in that on Friday you're going to have a special. There's so many things you can do with your blog. And that takes me back to the network marketing. Like if you're in a makeup industry, if you're in a coffee industry, if you're in a drink, a power drink or a shake or something like that, you can do reviews on it, you can do testimonials on it, and you can use your blog to help you promote it and help you promote outside of your warm market so that you're not doing those cold calls. Whew. Gives me the shivers just thinking of those things. Sorry. But anyways, cold calls, chewing up your warm market, and you know, your own family not wanting to answer the phone and all that. So go to organic traffic, and that's what a blog allows you to do. And you know, you will find that through your blog you will expand yourself, because you're going to be communicating with people, and we can all use that. So I hope this hangout has really helped you tonight. And in closing, before we go, I just want to tell you that you know, sometimes it seems as though communication is a lost art. I'm no Einstein. He was math though, but you know, I don't know where or when to use a noun, an adverb, or a verb. I shoot from the hip. Erica just gave us some great ideas. All I'm saying is that it may sound simple, but simple makes money. It just does. So if you've enjoyed our hangout tonight and you're thinking that maybe you'd like to try this blogging, because right now it's going, I think, $7 trial for 7 days, something like that, please click the link below. It's Let's Get Started. You can get introduced to it immediately. You can get back to the person that invited you to come to this hangout. We urge you to do that, or get back to any of us on the panel. All of us are available on Facebook. We can answer any questions that you want to know. There's also a little blue tab that's just above the video that you're watching, and it says facts and questions, and if you click on that, that will tell you about our team, the TILT team, Totally Inspired Living Tribe. And well, we're the best tribe in the country, so this is where you want to be. And I just thank you so much for coming out tonight and listening to us, and I hope we've brought you value. Click the link below. Get started today. Make 2015 your year. It's your year. Go for it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next Monday right back here. Same place, same time, same people. Take care. Bye-bye.